Hi, my name is Mary and I'm going to Uchicago in the fall. I decided to make this video because the summer after junior year, I know I was freaking out. That's when I started my college admissions process, and I know there wasn't many people to sit down and talk to me like I'm going to try to today. The first place to start logically would be a disclaimer. This isn't a guide to how to get into college. This isn't a guide to how to get into a top school. This isn't even a guide to how to get into Uchicago. Here's just my 2 cents on the college admissions process as a person who got into college, who's going to college this fall. The place I'm going to start is with some stats, because I know everybody loves some stats. My name is Mary, I'm African American. I go to public school in Columbus, Ohio, and I had a 4.2 GPA as of submitting my college admissions. And I was number 30 out of 430 in my class. I had a 34 super score on the ACT and a 33 composite. And I had a 1400 on the SAT even though I didn't submit it to colleges. I guess my whole high school career actually started in junior high. I started taking high school classes in junior high, and throughout my whole education process, I always took the hardest classes I could take. Up until sophomore year, when it came time to finally take AP classes, which is where they started in my school, I took my first AP, which is AP US History, and I did well in it the entire year. I had studied really hard and I did really well on the test. I got a 5. But that experience showed me that I didn't like AP, and I didn't like the structure and how I was studying for a test. I wasn't studying to learn the stuff. So I decided from that point on that I was done with APs. So that was the only AP I took over my entire high school career. From that point on, I started taking college credit classes. By the time I graduated, I had 29 college credits, which I will put on the screen here. And I got A's in every single college class I took, except for calculus, which I got a B- in. And in all my classes in general, I had mostly straight A's, except for, I know I have a B in every single math class I ever took, because it just isn't my thing. And I know I have a B in chemistry somewhere. My biggest advice when choosing classes in high school is to definitely try to narrow down what you want to do and take classes in that field, but don't feel pressured to take classes that you don't specifically care about. So I know I want to go into the medical field, so I took a bunch of STEM-based courses and a bunch of hospital biomedical courses to like angle me towards my path. Didn't fall into the trap of only taking the hard classes to get into college, because I know a lot of friends that did that and played the GPA game and climbed the ladder, and it just wasn't something I was inclined to do. So I made sure that while I took all these hard classes, I always took classes that interested in me and that made me happy and were my places to go during the day. So I took classes like choir, I took theater for a few years, I took yearbook, and those were my classes where I had my fun during the day, and they were things that fulfilled me and things that will get into my extracurriculars in a minute. Going into my extracurriculars, I have my Common App up to show the activities that I did send into colleges. On the Common App, I filled in every single activity space, whether it was like community service or an activity that I was involved in, and these are things that I was passionate about and I sought after and I did through multiple years in high school. And one of the things I can say most about the activities you're in is make sure they make sense. If you don't want to be there, don't be there. Your time and effort won't show into the things you accomplish through them or don't accomplish through them, which will be more likely. So in the case of me, I took things that I was interested in and I excelled in them, and it's obvious through the things I've earned in that time. So you can show ways you excelled through like leadership positions, through awards, through just projects that you put on yourself to better yourself, and anybody will be able to see that this person cares about what they're doing. Am I out of focus? Oh, I've been out of focus this whole time. Okay, I don't think I was out of focus for at least the entire video. The first thing I have on my extracurriculars on my Common App is my STEM/biomedical sciences class that I took during high school. In high school, I had the opportunity to take this class at a hospital and shadow with healthcare professionals. Through this class and through the projects that I did and the shadowing experience I have, I think it showed me that I definitely do want to be in the healthcare field. It expressed my interest in a way that was far from the typical classroom setting and stood me apart as a candidate for the major that I wanted to be in. I was a part of the STEM program for all 4 years of high school. The second activity I've listed on my Common App is Chorale, which I was treasurer of. And Chorale is like a show choir. Commitment was singing and dancing, which is something that I love and something I will pursue in college as a hobby, but also the kids in my community and bettering my community. That was a big part of Chorale for me. The third activity I have is 2 more choirs that I'm involved in. I was involved in 3 choirs every year. It adds to my music experience and things that I'm involved in. My fourth activity was the Diversity Council that I founded with my friends. This club was founded in reaction to a bunch of events that happened in my community that proved a need and a want for diversity and inclusion, and that's what we sought out to make in this group. We had meetings about once a month, and this was a big test in growing to be a leader and actually having an idea and putting it into place with a bunch of my friends who made it a good experience. The next thing I was involved in was Yearbook. I was a staff member for 2 years, and on the staff I took pictures, I wrote stories, I helped to spread design, I helped the newer staff members, I went to events, covered events, interviewed people, and it helped with my people skills, getting out there, and journalism, which is a thing I might want to pursue in college also. The next thing I have is service learning, which is a program which I leave school in the middle of the day, which was nice, to go tutor at a middle school 3 days a week. All the community service that I was involved in were things I actually cared about, which were my community and being involved with kids, which are things that showed through several of the projects that I'm in, which helped with continuity in my profile. These aren't things that I just randomly joined or I signed up because they sounded good. They're things that I was interested in, and that's why a lot of them are similar. The next thing I was involved in was I'm a HOSA Club member for the past 2 years, which is, I'm gonna butcher this even though I've been involved in it for several years, but it's like Future Healthcare Providers of America. I competed in the Behavioral Health Knowledge category, and I am #1 in my region, #3 in the state, and this summer I will be competing in Texas at the international level. This goes along with my STEM career, and it was intertwined with my STEM classes, and it goes along with the major I've chosen to pursue in the fall, which is neuroscience. So it shows my dedication to the field and the things I know about it. Also in HOSA and STEM, we did STEM nights and days at elementary schools to teach kids about STEM and the STEM field, shows them different paths in the STEM field that they can see themselves in. I was a part of theater freshman year, and senior year I came back to the program as house manager, and I oversaw ticket sales, I oversaw all the ushers and the general state of the house and making sure people were happy. These last 2 activities were some of my community service projects that I put in my application, and I was a leadership intern with the National Hall of Inventors at their camp invention, and I was a camp counselor for 18 first and second graders. I encourage them in activities promoting innovation and creativity in the STEM fields. And the last activity I listed on my comment app was I was an outdoor education counselor, and over the course of 3 days I was a camp counselor to 8 middle school girls, and I helped them activities encouraging outdoor education, getting outside, camping, and teamwork and development. On to testing. To get into a program, I had to take the ACT pretty early, so I started studying for the ACT my sophomore year, and I studied with a tutor. On my first ACT, I got a composite score of a 30, and I can talk about the ACT another time and give some of my tips that I got from tutoring. One mistake that I made that had the potential to hurt me a lot, but I don't think it did hurt me, was the fact that I took the ACT a lot of times. I was determined to get the score that I ended up with, so I ended up taking it 6 times over the course of 3 school years. I ended with a 34 super score and a composite of a 33. On to actual college admissions. I didn't start seriously thinking about college until the summer after my junior year. So up until this point, I hadn't really seriously looked at colleges or visited any. So this summer I took advantage of all that, and I visited a bunch of colleges and narrowed down what I did and what I didn't want in college. At this point, I had a very long list of schools that I wanted to apply to, start way earlier than me. If I had known more about the college admissions process, I would have had a bunch more resources, I would have had more time to plan things and figure things out and visit a lot more of the colleges that I was planning on applying to. One thing that helped me tremendously through the entire process was I took a bunch of notes, and I compiled all of these notes and all of my research about these colleges into a big spreadsheet, and I had every single college I was thinking about applying to, and it was a lot more schools than you're seeing right now, but I weeded it down. I had my safety reach match schools. I had the ACT scores that were probable to get in. I had factors about it that I liked. I had the essays I would have needed to write. Through that list, I was able to see things that I did like about colleges, things I didn't like about colleges. By fall going into senior year, I had a solid list of schools that I was thinking about applying to, and they're mostly in order of my preference, but there's a few schools that were kind of out of order. #1 spot, I have the University of Chicago, then Columbia University, University of Pennsylvania, Johns Hopkins University, Brown University, Northwestern University, The Ohio State University, New York University, Ohio University, Miami University, Harvard, Yale, and I think that's about it. I had a very long, ambitious list of schools I was going to apply to. Going into the college admissions process, I was kind of confused and really alone because I'm the oldest in my family, so my parents hadn't put another kid through it. And they also didn't go to college in this country, so I seeked professional help. I got college counseling help from the Princeton Review. They helped me with a lot of things, from figuring out how to properly brainstorm and figure out my ideas, to how to frame myself and my story, and how to sell myself in this short essay that you were provided, or short 2 or 3 essays that you're provided. Another big help I had through college counseling was optimizing the Common App to properly show off my achievements, my grades, and my accomplishments, and everything I had to bring to the table. With my college admissions counselor, I also came to the conclusion to apply early decision. I knew it was where I wanted to go, and I knew it would optimize my chances to apply early decision over any other application strategy. As for my essays, I'll leave a blog post linked in the description that has parts and excerpts from my essays that I ended up submitting to colleges that helped me get in. Because I was applying early decision, this split my college admissions process in half. I ended up applying to 4 schools, and I was intending on applying to all of my other schools at a later time once I found out my decisions for those 4 schools. The 4 schools I ended up applying to were Ohio State University, Ohio University, the University of Chicago, and Miami University. And all of these schools I applied to earlier because they had early action deadlines and my early decision deadline. So I got them out of the way, and after that I was able to relax until December 18th, which is when I got my University of Chicago acceptance. One thing I would say to anybody applying early decision is do not do what I did. Write all of your essays in one go. What I did was I finished all my applications for early decision and early action by November 1st, and then I didn't do anything else. I put in a little bit of work during that time for my essays for other schools, but I really didn't put in the work I should have. Had I not gotten in, it would have bit me in the butt because I had about 9 applications that I hadn't touched, and I was going to give myself about 2 weeks to figure it out and scramble and finish them if I hadn't gotten in. I ended up getting accepted to all 4 of the colleges I applied to. I didn't apply to any of my regular decision applications because I didn't have to. Why am I going to the University of Chicago? If you saw my list of schools, you know I wanted to go to a prestigious school. I wanted to go to school with a really good reputation for putting pre-med students into medical school. And I'll admit, Uchicago wasn't actually on my radar until very late in the game. Things came alive when I finally took a tour and I finally started figuring out about the school, how amazing of a campus it has, and how dedicated the students are, and how dedicated the faculty is, and how accomplished they are. The culture of the school was somewhere I wanted to be. The culture matched something I saw in myself. I knew I could excel there, I knew I could be challenged there, I knew I could meld with the people there, and I knew this like kooky Uchicago culture would be perfect for me. And the city is a beautiful one I want to explore, and one I could see myself living in one day. Thank you for watching this video. Good luck to anyone considering applying to University of Chicago, or any seniors going to fall this year, because I know this is going to be a challenging time, and I wish you luck, and I know you'll do amazing. Don't hesitate to comment or DM me if you have any questions about University of Chicago applications. Also leave a comment if you want an ACT strategy video, because I do have a 34 on the ACT, and I did a lot of tutoring, so I have a lot of tips. Thank you for watching. Use this one. What are you doing?